There's a difference between women who simply talk to men and women whose presence, words, and energy leave men captivated. It's not about playing games, forcing attention, or trying too hard. It's about how you carry yourself in every interaction and how you make a man feel when you speak. High-value women understand the power of communication, how tone, timing, and authenticity can create an irresistible pull. If you've ever wondered why some women command attention without begging for it, why their conversations flow naturally and yet leave a lasting impression, then you're about to discover the truth. A high-value woman understands that her voice is more than just sound. It's an instrument that carries her presence. When she speaks, she does not rush her words or fill the air with nervous chatter. She knows the power of stillness and the impact of pacing. Her words are delivered with a calm confidence, as though she has nothing to prove and nothing to chase. This is not arrogance, it's assurance. It's the unspoken message that she is secure in who she is, and therefore she does not need to demand attention by speaking too loudly or too quickly. Men feel this difference instantly. They notice the serenity in her tone, the way her voice carries meaning without trying too hard. Instead of overwhelming him with words, she creates space in the conversation, allowing him to be drawn in naturally. It's almost as though her words are laced with gravity, pulling him closer with every syllable. This calmness also communicates control. A woman who can regulate her tone and pace shows that she can regulate her emotions, and that emotional mastery is incredibly attractive. Men instinctively associate it with strength and femininity combined, the rare balance that makes a woman unforgettable. He leans in, not just physically but emotionally, because he wants to hear more. He feels that her words matter, that there's depth behind them. She doesn't waste energy on gossip, complaints, or meaningless talk. Instead, she chooses her moments carefully, and because of this, everything she says seems important. This is what creates that magnetic pull. Even her pauses carry weight. When she allows silence to linger for just a heartbeat before finishing a thought, that pause becomes powerful. It creates suspense, anticipation, and a sense that her words are worth waiting for. In a world where most people talk endlessly, trying to outdo one another, the woman who takes her time instantly stands out. Her confidence radiates through her voice, and men can't help but feel it. They don't just hear her. They experience her presence in every sentence. That calm confidence transforms ordinary words into something unforgettable, and it's one of the reasons men find themselves unable to resist her. Instead of fearing silence, a high-value woman embraces it as part of her conversation. She doesn't rush to fill every gap with words, because she knows that silence can speak louder than constant chatter. When she pauses, it isn't awkward. It's intentional. That stillness allows her words to settle, to echo in the mind of the man listening, giving him time to process not just what she said, but how she said it. The pause becomes a tool, a subtle way of holding attention without ever forcing it. He finds himself leaning in, waiting for what comes next, because the anticipation created in those quiet moments makes every word feel more valuable. This balance between speech and silence sets her apart. Most people talk because they are uncomfortable with quiet, using endless words to seek validation. But a woman of high value doesn't need to prove herself. She communicates with confidence that her presence alone is enough. That pause in her conversation tells him she's not desperate for approval, she's comfortable in her own skin. And that comfort becomes contagious. Instead of her energy rising in nervousness, it grounds the entire interaction, creating a sense of calm that he doesn't want to leave. There's also a deeper psychology behind this. When she embraces pauses, she shifts the dynamic. Suddenly, he is the one who feels the need to bridge the silence, to engage more, to invest more effort into the conversation. This subtle shift places her in a position of quiet power. She isn't the one chasing his attention. He is leaning forward, drawn into her rhythm, trying to win the next piece of her thoughts. That is the magnetic charm of restraint. Even her silence holds mystery. It makes him wonder what she's thinking, what she might say next, or why she chooses to withhold her words in that moment. Mystery fuels attraction, and by not giving everything away, she keeps his curiosity alive. This doesn't mean she plays games. It means she values her words enough to give them with care, and the man consciously or unconsciously starts valuing them too. In the end, it's not just what she says that captivates him. It's the spaces in between, the deliberate pauses that make her unforgettable. A high-value woman understands that the true power of conversation doesn't come from how much she talks, but from the quality of what she says and how deeply she listens. When she speaks, her words have intention. She doesn't engage in empty flattery or meaningless small talk just to keep a man entertained. Instead, she chooses words that create connection, words that make him think, reflect, or feel something deeper. Every sentence has a purpose, whether it's to show genuine curiosity, share insight, or invite him into a more meaningful dialogue. This makes the man feel like he's not just talking to anyone. He's talking to someone who values depth, someone who makes him want to open up in ways he normally wouldn't. Listening plays an equally powerful role. A high-value woman doesn't just wait for her turn to speak, she pays attention. She notices his tone, his choice of words, the emotions beneath them. She mirrors that energy back with thoughtful responses, which makes him feel understood on a level that most people overlook. Men are often starved of true listeners, so when they encounter a woman who listens not just with her ears, but with her presence, it feels magnetic. She doesn't interrupt, she doesn't rush him, but she also doesn't let the conversation drift into shallow waters. She guides it subtly with meaningful questions and reflections that keep him engaged and intrigued. This intentional way of speaking also communicates self-respect. She isn't trying to win approval by saying whatever she thinks he wants to hear. Instead, she shares her truth honestly, without fear of judgment. That authenticity stands out. He feels the strength in her words because they are not designed to manipulate or impress. They are simply real. And authenticity, when combined with intention, creates an undeniable pull. What makes her irresistible is that every interaction feels like it has substance. A conversation with her isn't forgettable. It lingers in his mind because it felt rare, different from the usual surface, level exchanges he's used to. He finds himself replaying her words, remembering how she made him feel valued and seen. She doesn't need to speak endlessly to leave a mark. Her ability to speak with intention and to listen with depth is enough to make him crave more of her presence. Playfulness is one of the most underrated yet irresistible qualities a high-value woman brings into her conversations. She knows how to balance seriousness with lightness, strength with softness, and that creates a dynamic energy that men can't get enough of. When she talks, she sprinkles in humor, wit, or a teasing remark that makes the interaction feel fun and effortless. It's not about trying to be a comedian or performing for attention. It's about knowing how to bring levity to the moment and letting her natural charm flow. That playful spark makes a man relax around her while at the same time keeping him on his toes. He never quite knows what she'll say next, and that unpredictability makes the conversation addictive. A high-value woman also understands timing. Her playfulness isn't constant. It's woven naturally into the interaction. She knows when to be serious, when to be thoughtful, and when to lighten the mood with a subtle joke or a mischievous smile. This balance makes her conversations feel alive, like a dance where he has to stay present to keep up. She isn't afraid to challenge him playfully either, to test his wit or his confidence in a light-hearted way. This kind of teasing isn't cruel or dismissive. It's magnetic because it invites him to engage fully, to rise to the energy she's creating. What makes her playfulness irresistible is that it never comes from a place of insecurity. She isn't trying to mask nervousness or hide behind jokes. Instead, her playful side flows from her confidence and comfort in who she is. That's why men find it so compelling. It feels authentic, not forced. It shows that she knows how to enjoy the moment, that she doesn't take herself too seriously, and that she can find joy even in simple exchanges. This playful energy also creates a sense of intimacy. Shared laughter builds connection faster than almost anything else. When a man laughs with her, when he feels that lightness, he starts associating her presence with joy. He begins to crave that feeling, to seek her out, because she makes the ordinary feel exciting. A high-value woman knows that attraction isn't just built on deep conversations or serious intensity. It's built on balance. And her ability to mix confidence with playfulness is what makes her unforgettable. Boundaries are one of the most powerful ways a high-value woman communicates her worth, and it shows up even in the way she talks. She doesn't just let conversations drift into places that make her uncomfortable, nor does she allow someone to push past her limits with charm or persistence. Instead, she has a graceful but firm way of steering dialogue where it aligns with her values. If a man crosses a line, whether through inappropriate comments or pressing her for information she doesn't wish to share, she doesn't laugh it off or try to please him. She calmly and confidently redirects, making it clear that her time and energy are not available for anything that doesn't serve her. This kind of subtle authority doesn't push men away. It draws the right kind of men closer. Her words carry a quiet power because they are backed by self-respect. When she says, no, it isn't defensive or aggressive. It's steady, final, and unapologetic. That kind of clarity is magnetic because men recognize that they are dealing with someone who knows herself and won't compromise her dignity for attention. It sets her apart instantly from women who bend their boundaries just to keep a man interested. He feels the strength in her energy, and it makes him value her more, because what is rare is always treasured. A high-value woman also communicates boundaries in subtle ways. She doesn't need to explain endlessly why something doesn't work for her. Sometimes it's in her tone, the shift in her body language, or the way she changes the subject with confidence. These unspoken signals send the message that she values her space, and a man who respects her notices and responds. It's not about being cold or dismissive, it's about being selective. And selectiveness, when paired with warmth, creates a magnetic tension that men find irresistible. What makes this even more powerful is that her boundaries don't feel like walls, they feel like standards. She isn't shutting people out, she's showing them how to treat her. Men quickly understand that conversations with her must be respectful, meaningful, and aligned with her values. And once a man sees that she won't bend for anyone, his respect for her deepens. Instead of chasing her just for attention, he begins to chase her respect, because earning a place in her world feels like a privilege. That sense of privilege is what makes her unforgettable. A high-value woman never uses her words as a performance to win approval. She doesn't twist herself into someone else's image just to be liked, nor does she filter every sentence through the question, will he accept me if I say this? Instead, she speaks with authenticity, and that is what makes her magnetic. When she talks, her tone carries a sense of truth, sometimes soft and nurturing, sometimes bold and direct, but always aligned with who she really is. There's no mask, no attempt to impress through exaggerated stories or forced charm. This kind of raw honesty is rare, and men feel it immediately. They may not always be able to explain why, but they know when a woman's words come from a genuine place, and that's why they can't resist her. Authenticity in her speech also communicates emotional strength. She isn't afraid of being misunderstood or judged because she values her own self-respect more than external validation. That level of confidence makes a man lean in with curiosity, wondering what else lies beneath her calm exterior. He senses that she won't tell him what he wants to hear just to keep him around. Instead, she'll tell him the truth, even if it's not the easiest thing to say. And paradoxically, that truth is what makes him respect her more. A woman who speaks from her heart without fear shows that she has nothing to hide. This authenticity doesn't mean she overshares or spills every detail of her life. It means that whatever she chooses to share is real. When she laughs, it's genuine, not forced to gain attention. When she gives a compliment, it comes from sincerity, not flattery. That level of honesty makes every interaction refreshing, especially in a world where so many conversations feel scripted or fake. He feels safe around her because he knows her words reflect who she truly is. That safety, combined with her confidence, creates a bond that is difficult to replace. Most importantly, her authenticity is magnetic because it's consistent. She doesn't shift her personality depending on who she's with. The same calm confidence she shows in one setting is present in another. That consistency makes her trustworthy, and trust is the foundation of attraction. Men can't resist a woman who is unapologetically herself because she stands out in a world where most people are pretending. It's not about perfect words, it's about real ones. And that reality is what keeps her unforgettable